Alright, hello everybody, welcome to another video. We got a lot going on here. Oh my god, and the dog's going mental. So I'm looking after a dog again for the next couple of days. So can you guys hear that? That's him going mental with his food bowl right now. You alright? Yeah, we're in the middle of a few things here. I'm trying to fish for some money, which I'll explain in a second, but also the casino's going on, which I want to tag at the end because, well, weirdly enough, I've actually been playing a lot of Path of Fire. Over the past couple of days. My god, once again, the dialogue, please, with the dialogue. Because basically, you know, I'm getting this ascended, like, amulet collection, and trinkets and all that. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing? Move over there. Okay, sorry about that. Wow, this is one of the worst intros I've ever done. Yeah, sorry. He's finished his food, but he's trying to get like a bunch of treats and stuff. Yeah. Oh my god, what happened to my skiff? Hey? Did I somehow dismount my skiff during that? Yeah. So weirdly enough, okay. With this series, obviously we're going through End of Dragons. We'll be picking up that story in just a moment. Don't you guys worry. It's such a crazy series this has been. It started with me feeling completely out of touch with the game. Jaded with the game, unenthusiastic about certain elements of the game. Certainly doing a story playthrough like didn't really help that either, because there are big bits of the story and the delivery of this that I didn't quite like too much, of which we'll be getting through very soon. But then I kind of refound my love for lots of things Guild Wars, just basically things that weren't story-related elements of Guild Wars. So sort of refound my love for it. That was a few episodes. Then, like a couple of the more recent episodes, I've kind of been on my way out of the game again, kind of, you know, looking at other stuff, doing other things. And now, okay, so 2 days ago, ArenaNet revealed a big shift. So for posterity, people in the future, they've just revealed that there's not going to be conventional expansions or conventional Living World ever again. Living World is done. What they're doing instead, so the fundamental issue that they've had is they always have these gaps and this downtime in developing Guild Wars when they shift from making Living World to then making an expansion, and then they shift and they shift. So what they're looking to do is one like production concept that does it all at once kind of thing. So they focused on X-Packs, not Living World. That's the fundamental difference between today and the start of the Icebreed Saga. The Icebreed Saga said, let's do Living World forever, and people did not like that. Now they're saying, well, let's just do expansions forever. And what they'll do is you get like the first 2 maps of the expansion at once. So it's slightly smaller than expansions as we currently know it. But then over the following year, they filter in the rest of the X-Pack. And then they'll do another one. And so for the regular Guild Wars 2, enthusiastic Guild Wars 2 player who plays it a lot, we are probably going to be spending more money here now. Because it's like 30 quid every year, basically, or every 15, 18 months. But on the flip side of that, it will average out to this game has more patches that are actually interesting, more updates that are actually interesting, and the gaps will go away. So, you know, there's a lot of debate at the moment. Are we paying more for less? Can we trust them to do well with this new concept? Blah, 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 blah. I think the fundamentals of it look really good, but it means a lot for the kind of stories and the things that we'll have coming up. Now, they were quite clever. I think they wrote the post not too well, but they were quite clever in that they paired this information with the revelation that in just, what is it, 10 days? 10 days from now is the next story update. It's not called Living World. I assume it will get bundled in the story journal. Now, you'll notice that the journal looks crazy right now. There's some kind of weird bug going on. They're clearly experimenting with adding stuff to the journal, and I don't know, there's a lot we could talk about with that. But they're going to add more to the end of the story. So really, we got to get this series done, and I want to get this series done because I got this going on, I got FF6 going on, I got Tomb Raider going on, and they're all stalling now, which is like my nightmare thing. I always end up doing this. Everything stalls, and then I get overwhelmed, and then I stop doing things. So how long till the meta's done? 3 minutes? We should go get ourselves in position. So yeah, let's finish the story. It's crazy. It's coming so quickly. Now, I just posted right before sitting down to do this video, another video where I'm speculating about where the plot's going. Basically, they've released this teaser image. It's kind of spoilery as far as this series is concerned, because we're not actually at the Jade Sea yet, are we? Which is quite funny. But I'll show you guys it anyway, if I can get the goddamn... Something's going on with my file system where it's being really annoying trying to find the images that I actually want to show off. You know, like in Windows, you can filter things by, like, newest or oldest. It's not coming up, and I don't know why. Well, whatever, it's fine, I won't show you. Basically, they got a teaser image about the next patch. I just did a whole video about that teaser image. And also just kind of my hopes and desires, because End of Dragons... Like, I think a lot of End of Dragons was a bit of a dud. I think the fishing was a bit of a dud. I think the skiffs were a bit of a dud. I think the turtles was a bit of a dud. I think that the Jade bot is power creep in some way and untapped potential in another way. And now that they've got this new, like, format on their minds, they kind of have to nail it in these next patches. If they're gonna make the turtle better... Why are you crying over there? What's wrong? You've just eaten. I think he gets jealous when I get on the mic. It's like he thinks I'm paying attention to someone else. And I sort of am. Yeah, so, Christ, I lost my thread. Yeah, I'm a bit underwhelmed by a lot of elements of End of Dragons, but they can be saved. They can be salvaged. The turtle can be an awesome thing as long as there's, like, stuff for the turtle to do and the skiff to do. And, like, so I really have high hopes for this next patch. And anyway, so I just did a big video about that. I assume that anyone watching this right when this comes out, they're probably on that other video right now, but people will probably filter in as time goes by. So, yeah, anyway, I will get to End of Dragons. We will be back on my rev in just a moment. I'm just trying to earn money. As you can see, I have no money. Like, literally, this is what I have. 1 gold to my name right now. I've been spending like mad. Like I don't know if I've ever spent more money in Guild Wars faster than I have over these past few weeks. I mean, it's crazy. So they had a big build template sale. So I spent hundreds of gold on gems to get build templates for my characters, because I got these 9 characters I want to sell. Loads of money went away there. I did a full set of medium legendary armor, which was a huge amount of money. I'm building out my heavy legendary armor as well, the envoy set. And I'm actually really close to my next envoy piece. I kind of wanted to put it in this video here, because my rev will wear it. But unfortunately, I can't get enough money, so I'm fishing like mad. The thing is, yesterday as well... Oh, and the other thing is as well, I've got so many characters set up right now. They've all got, like, crazy amounts of money invested in them for, like, their infusions and stuff. So, you know, like, all my favorite builds, they all have, like, +5, +9 infusions. Each one of them is around 60 to 80 gold, right? So, and it's every slot. So, 60, 80 gold, 60, 80 gold, 60, 80 gold, everywhere. And on multiple templates, on multiple characters. Now, Ellie, I've kind of not been a big fan of lately, at all, really. But there was a nice Weaver patch recently. And this Ellie is kind of my original main, you know. This Ellie has all the nice bags and stuff and, you know, has everything, really. I set up her Jadebot stuff as well, by the way. I finally crafted these. These were rare drops from meta events, and I figured I'd do it. I got Treasure Hunter Protocol and Mount Energy Booster on her. But, so, she's, like, the character on the account, if you will. And she didn't even have the infusions. I'd, like, salvage them. I'd taken them off, put them on other characters. So, on top of all the money I'm spending, I'm also trying to finish off her +5, +9, at least for power. So I have it, I got that one. I've got all the armor done. I got 2 of the weapons done. I have all of the ring slots filled. I have all of these ring slots filled. And I have vision filled. But I don't have infusions here. I still need 3 more of these. So yesterday, I logged in with 96 silver. And by the end of the day, I had 90 gold. I made 90 gold in 1 day yesterday in Guild Wars. And how did I do that? Fishing, T4 fractals, Dragonstorm, and daily. That was it. I didn't PvP. PvP is where I used to get all my money. The season's not even on at the moment. It's like a mini season. So, yeah, I made 100 gold just through doing random stuff. And fishing was a big part of it. Fishing here in this meta. So, yeah, I kind of had a lot of fun. And I wanted to have just a little bit more just to get this next heavy piece, but I don't. So anyway, yeah, as you can see, I'm playing a lot of the game. I'm really doing a lot with Guild Wars at the moment. Oh, we also did some raids with the Spards, and we did HTCM yesterday. And that was some good money there as well. That sort of gave me the last, I think, 15, 20 gold or something. But yeah, I've also been doing POF. I've been doing a thing in POF that I had never played before, which is pretty interesting. I've done this all wrong. It doesn't matter, it's the pinata. Pinata melts. Actually, I kind of want to run Bolt to the heart, Fresh Air rather than Bolt to the heart on this build, but we'll see. So here's what I've been doing on POF. I've been getting trade contracts. Now, this is so weird, because I had thousands and thousands and thousands of trade contracts through POF's actual time in the sun. and I never needed to farm them, and I thought they were a crappy currency. Like, why would you care about them? What's the point? But now I need them like mad. Now, why do I need them? It's because of my collection thing. Now, this is totally frivolous, completely unnecessary, but I'm trying to get all the trinkets in the game, right? I've done core now, so I'm up to POF, so these 3 slots here. The thing with these slots is these are POF-only trinkets, right? So, Nadage's done Aztec Signet, done Quarry's Treasure. There's a thing here, I think it's called the Anthem of Liberty, and then the First Spear's Icon. These can only be got from POF. They're not like a... You can obviously stat select, say, a Mist Talisman into it or whatever, which is what most players would do. Or now we have legendaries, so people would just pick their legendaries. But if you want to get the actual item itself, they're so tricky. First of all, it's loads of laurels. It's like 30 laurels for one of these items. This next item, I need 30 laurels. So it's going to take a month of laurels, basically. But on top of that, it's trade contracts. It's like 3,000 trade contracts just for that. It's like 1,000 for 500 for each ring. So it's 3k for the rings and then another 3k for the accessory. And I got to fill all of these in. I got to get this one from Long Live the Lich as well. It's a crazy grind, actually. I didn't realize. And I assume that there were some people who got like their grieving stuff back during the day or whatever. But I mean, I just stat selected my way into all this stuff. It's so weird to think that this was so like such a misfire. I'm having a lot of fun though, because it's making me look at POF. I've been doing the treasure hunting farm. And actually, I think there's a little bit of footage in today's video of the treasure hunting farm, which is, you know, you get the treasure hunting kit. Oh, I don't think I've got any on me. Well, they're on the Rev, so let's go to the Rev. I'm not going to fish. Let's go to my Rev. So basically, you double-click the kit, and somewhere on the map will be a buried chest, but it's like the entire map. And remember, these are the Path of Fire maps, so they're huge. And the idea is you're going to mount your way over to it. Am I in old LA right now? No, that's new LA, because the map's working properly. So people recommend it for Vabby, because Vabby's the smallest map. But I'll give you an example. I don't know, fine. The Crystal Oasis. And I never did this back during POF's heyday. I never did it. It's actually quite an interesting system. So you double-click a treasure hunting kit. You get a special action. Let's go to this here. So yeah, I'm in the middle of making the gloves. I'm so close to the gloves. Just like a little bit more. I'm probably like 30 gold away, and then I can make them. Which I'll get tomorrow after daily, you know, because a lot of this stuff is just... You can get huge amounts of money, but only once per day, so... But anyway, yeah, so you get the special action. You hit the special action, and you get, like, a suggestion of where to look. Now, if you look at the map, there's this UI, this blue ring. It's a really interesting UI. And so through this, you can tell what waypoint is probably the closest. I would say we are already at the closest for that. So mount up however you like. I'll use a roller beetle. This is somewhat the correct terrain for it. I actually hit my Bond of Vigor probably a little bit too early there. So just get yourself to the blue ring. And we're entering it now. And then hit the special action again to sort of try and see where you are. Now, if the orbs are red, you're really far away. So they're red right now. When they go orange, you know you're going to be a little bit close. They'll probably clip into the ground here, so they're over here, and they're always leading you to it. It's probably somewhere near the sand here. So now they're yellow, see? We're near this patrol. Oh, and doing events is good as well, actually. And these patrol events are some of the easiest events on Lagulus too. It's just 2 waves of random stuff that dies in like a couple of little hits. So that's 1 wave already done. And that's the 2nd wave done, right? So, and look, we get trade contracts from that. Only 3, but you get some. Anyway, yeah, and then when it goes green, you're really close. Go right up to it. You get a chest like this, and you just run around getting these buried treasures. Now, when you open these, you can get like 2, or you can get like 25, or like, I don't know what the hyper high rolls are. There's not a preview. I assume you might even be able to get even more. So I did that, I got 7. But you pile them up, and then you just double click through them, and you get loads. That's one way of farming them. Another way of farming them, interestingly enough, is at the Fortune's Veil. Do you remember that thing in the puzzle room with the 2 doors? Where you can go left or right, left or right, left or right, and it's giving you materials to craft like big bags. I think it's big bags anyway. They're like Delgemore spools of thread. It's weird because you have to spend a gold every time you try it, but if you get lucky, the loot you get reimburses you. So you do lose money, but there's a chance you'll gain money. I don't know, you can do that for trade contracts, and on that you can get like loads, but I don't have any capital at the moment. I genuinely don't have any capital to... I mean, I could sell stuff, but it'd be weird stuff that I don't want to sell, like old snowflakes and things. So, that's a thing. And then finally, just doing the metas. So there I did a meta and I picked 100. But see, I've only got 200 trade contracts right now. I've only got 200. I need to get 3,000 for my next item. So, but also I'm gated on laurels now anyway, so just over the next month, I'll just keep looking at POF. And I kind of love this. I love that I'm looking at POF again. The thing that I hate about it, though, is I'm only doing this. There is absolutely no incentive in the game to do this beyond you're just a nutter that's played too much and you don't have anything else to do. And that's not even true of me, to be fair. It's just, so I don't know. I kind of wish that they had a proper rare collection in the game for gathering everything. That'd be so cool. Or maybe you should get a stat selectable one at the end of it or something. I don't know. Anyway, I actually have a really good concept, guys. A really good concept of something I want to see come into this game that would help new players. Would be kind of a halfway point between the Legendary Armory and actually useful stuff for other players. Oh, it would be the best thing in the world. And it kind of leans into this, but I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. Probably don't need to talk about that. Also, in terms of suggestions, so the big story right now... Let's go to End of Dragons now. The big story... And by the way, you see how it just became day? We're at dawn right now. You see it says on the bottom right, dawn. Cantha has a different day-night cycle. It's shifted slightly by like 5 minutes or something. It's kind of an interesting little detail. So let's go to Harvestone. Yeah, the big conversation at the moment with this whole mini X-Pack thing, if you're not a total cynic, is Elite Specializations. This is going to be a real sticking point, it seems. ArenaNet have been cagey about confirming that Elite Specializations are in these X-Packs. That, to me, says it's very unlikely they'll be there. So there is a real question right now of, like, is that going to blow up in their face? I find it hard to judge because I'm a big enough fan of this franchise, I would play it anyway. So I'm kind of not the right person to listen to on that, you know, because I'm in too deep. But I do, you know, I do read comments and stuff a lot, and it does seem, I don't know whether it's just a vocal minority, but I think some of you guys are insane. I genuinely do think some people are nuts, and they just, Elite Specializations are everything to them. Everything. Now, if you're just a PvPer or just a World versus Worlder, I get it, right? That is the only value you get out of an expansion, and that's totally fair. I don't know what small of a minority you are at that point, whether you really affect anything, but you know, that's one thing. But I think there's a lot of other people that just, it doesn't matter how shit the End of Dragons ones were, it doesn't matter how many flavors and options and ideas that are already in the game, it doesn't matter whether they themselves don't even have any concepts, they need new elite specs, you know. And so I wonder how they're going to feel. I think this is going to be a bit dodgy if ArenaNet don't have a good answer to that, a good like substitute system or something. That's the big conversation to follow at the moment. I put up a poll on YouTube as well. There's a video, there's this stream, and there's a poll. And if you guys haven't seen it, definitely go vote in it. In this poll, I've basically said, you know, if there's no elite specs, are you out? Are you in? To what degree do you feel strongly about this? And we'll see. I'm going to wait. There's like 700. I only put it up about an hour ago. There's like 700 votes in the poll at the moment. I'll wait for it to get to a few thousand before talking about it because it might shift more. But the trend right now is, again, I mean, I think people are crazy, but it's more heavily negative than I would have ideally wanted to see it. But we'll see. Anyway, to tie this back to what I was going to say, I'm going to do a video tomorrow. I think the big question is, all right, if there are no elite specs, what do they do instead? And I think I have 4 concepts for that. 4 really powerful and interesting ideas that should be considered as alternatives to elite specs. You know, things that are more sustainable on the long term, that they can be implemented regularly, that they're not a nightmare to design and develop and too expensive, and don't shake up and break the game and all that kind of stuff. I think I've got, because if there are no elite specs, there's obviously going to be a reason there's no elite specs. I assume it's development resources, but also it is kind of they're running out of road with things they can do. So yeah, and by the way, pretty much if you're a big WoodenPotatoes fan, if you've been following me for years and years and years, and I really do mean this, I like one of these concepts I'm about to talk about. I first discussed before Heart of Thorns, I think, and it wasn't a good video when I did. People didn't react very well to it, but fuck them. I still think I got a good idea. So we'll go back through some of these things. Yeah, if you're a big WoodenPotatoes fan, you will have heard some of these before. But yeah, so I'm just gonna sort of do 4 of them, and I basically scripted that all out, and I'm excited to get into it. It's just, you know, I've already got this video. I got this video and the other one that I've done today. So we just got lots going on already. Okay, right. Let's continue on with the story. Let's see what we got. Of course, we're going to play Vindicator. We're going to play the Ultimate Tank. I haven't really played him much. I played him a little bit in Fractals recently, but not too much. I had one very rare experience where I like LFG'd for Fractals, and someone called Quickness and someone else called Alacrity. And I was like, oh shit, I can play DPS, because I'm always on either Quickness or Alacrity. My two go-tos are Power Herald or Staff Mirage. Mirage for the Alacrity and Herald for the Quickness. I think they're both alright, actually. The Mirage is a bit hit or miss in Fractals, because it can't really ramp very well for a lot of like the trash packs, and some of the bosses aren't too good. But some places it really excels. Like the end of the Capricorn Fractal. Not Capricorn. It's not the Capricorn. What's that ship? I can't remember. Anyway, all right. Let's run on in here. Quick recap. What happened last time? Well, we did probably last episode was a weak episode of the series. Let's be real. We did a fairly weak part of the story. It wasn't a weak part of the story. I just wasn't engaged with it too well. Where we went to the Jade Brotherhood camp. We tried to investigate it. I messed up getting some of my side achievements. I'm gonna have to go back and do those off screen. Like story journal, we really should have got some of these. Jade Shadow, complete Cage's special mission parameters, and then also sabotage the Jade Brotherhood to acquire intel. I didn't get either of these. And then silence voices, that's at the other camp, and I never got that either. But we're basically done with Act 3. I mean, I've got everything there. We're moving into Act 4 now. In fact, we're already in Act 4, I think, where basically we fought Anka. Anka is dead now. So, in my opinion, the best character of the expansion, she is gone. But it's okay. One of the other best characters, Ivan, is still with us. So let's just read this here. I do like what they say, what the commander put in their journal here. With Karnak and Saeed as airship out in the... So Karnak came back, helped us trap Anka, basically. With Karnak and Saeed as airship out in the open, it didn't take long for the Aether Blades to track us down. Cornering us with their own ships, they sent wave after wave of pirates to try and take it. Luckily, Ayumi had planned ahead. Kestrel snipers hidden among the trees got a drop on the blades and took most of them out. And this is a cool moment, actually, where how I imagine that scene, it was very cool in engine, actually, too. We isolated one of the Aetherblade lieutenants, and he was willing to spill everything we needed to know about Anka's location. But before he could, Anka turned all of the fallen pirates into undead thralls. They descended on us, killing the lieutenant and overwhelming the Kestrels. The good news is that once we cleared the airship of the dead, Gorik was able to pinpoint the location of the extractor in the center of the Junlai Jade junkyard. We're on our way to it now. By the way, the junkyard's a really interesting part of the setting of Cantha. In terms of like actual map space, it's very small, isn't it? But it's got a cool aesthetic. I really like that idea that they picked that kind of a location. The route to the junkyard was a twisted, and so this all went really fast. This could have been much expanded in a more... And this is something interesting, by the way, on this whole mini X-Pack thing. You know my big criticism with End of Dragons constantly? It wasn't long enough. It wasn't long enough. It wasn't meaty enough in this place, and this place. Same criticism with POF. Same criticism with Heart of Thorns. There was not enough time. There was not enough to chew on, and it clearly ran out of road too early. That is the same criticism I've had every X-Pack. It crushes me to feel that way. And their new plan does not seem to solve that problem at all. I mean, God, I hope they have some good marketing or like blog posts or statements for us. I'd love to read some analysis from people at the studio. Like, they should put a blog post out about like, oh, the expansion will be shorter, or there'll be less maps, but the story quantity will be the same or something. I don't know, like... I don't mind less of an adventure if the bits we do go to, we really explore, you know, and really kind of dig into. I don't know. Anyway, I shouldn't have done that, because now we're going to have to navigate our way back through. Basically, what I'm trying to get at here is, now that we've passed this Anka bit, I think this expansion goes a bit quick, you know. We have a lot of setup to do about the final confrontation that's kind of just going to flash by in the blink of an eye, so get ready. A lot's going to happen in this episode. The route... blah, blah, blah. We're on our way to it. The route to the junkyard was a twisted echo of ore. I love that comparison. just because I love ore, littered with the bodies of fallen kestrels, patrolled by aetherblades who've been reduced to mindless risen, a fate I wouldn't wish on my worst enemies. I like how it's enemies there. I wonder who the commander's thinking about. Joko, Balthazar. And there, waiting in the centre of all that decay, was Anka. I wonder if a few raid bosses would get on that list. Anka threw every horrifying trick she had at us, even unleashing void energy from the nearby corrupted jade. As we fought, she made it clear she believes we're responsible for all this chaos, for the void itself. And it's somewhat true. I mean, if Traherne was alive, she could definitely throw that at him. But, I mean, I don't know. What are the Sylvari if not but instruments of their wild hunt? Blame the pale tree, you know. That is the natural endpoint for all our meddling and our hubris. I can't say she's wrong, but her idea that we need to just accept the inevitable and let the world reset, I'll never stand for that. That's so... I mean, again, there's so much meta commentary here. I feel like this is a meta comment about the idea of just dumping Guild Wars after Season 4 and going to Guild Wars 3. I really feel like that's what this is a comment about. Anyway, Anka was defiant to her last breath, but that breath finally came. The extractor is ours. ... Or not. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Gorick needed a moment to process Anka's death. He's never experienced the hurt of betrayal like that before. Neither have we, if you think about it. And her death hadn't brought him the closure he sought. I told him only he could choose to heal that wound. He took my advice to heart. I'm proud of him, to be honest, and got to work analysing the extractor, blah, blah, blah. But Anka had sabotaged it. Of course she'd sabotaged it. The extractor overloaded as soon as we activated it, sending us flying and leaving only wreckage behind. We're lucky no one was killed, but our plan of using the machine to purge Suwon's corruption is shot, and we're running out of time. We have one hope left. We got to repair this thing. How do we repair the extractor, everyone? What's our one hope? We managed to recover a single piece of the extractor, nothing that will work on its own, but solid evidence that Anka was behind everything. With any luck, we can use this evidence to regain the trust of the Ministry of Security, and June will help us rebuild the device, and we can stop the void before it's too late. It's a long shot, but it's our last shot. So there we have it. Continue this chapter. Oh yeah, and then we went to Minister Lee's office and we got given the runaround before we can actually... We're trying to go to Lee to convince him that we're innocent. And, you know, these filthy outsiders aren't all bad. And we've been given the runaround. We've got to do some busy work here. So we're going to go to Lieutenant Zhao. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I thought we were returning to Arborstone for some reason there. But it's fine. I just like using the Arborstone portal scroll because it's cheap. You know, at no point in my time playing Guild Wars 2 have I really cared about avoiding waypoints because of waypoint fees. But I'll tell you guys, when you're logging in with, like, a gold to your name, in terms of, like, liquid gold, suddenly you think about these things and you think about, like daily feels really good when it's, you know, you can triple your total value just by doing daily. It's been a nice little experience for me. You know, I think very lowly of the current implementation of the daily system, but right now I'm kind of getting a taste of what I assume very casual players do, where they're actually like, yeah, that's pretty good. So anyway, yeah, we're going to where, oh my god, what's his name? We're going to where Rama grew up here. We're going to have that really cool boating scene, actually. The cool skiff scene. It's weird, guys. So the big reveal, this thing with the new mini expansions, you got to understand, one is coming soon. I doubt 2023. I doubt it's this year. We've probably got a year. But 12 months from now, we're probably on the edge of an expansion. I mean, really stop to think, that's crazy. And what does that mean? There's not much space for storytelling left in End of Dragons. So suddenly, like, everything I'm doing, I'm like, how much more Rama are we going to get, you know? I hope Rama comes with us to the next mini X-Pack. Because, you know, and I actually think that those new cast members are really good candidates to keep with us, you know? Because they're not, like I've been saying so much in this series, so many of the main cast feel settled, they're in their happy ever afters and stuff. I'm kind of happy to sunset them. But, you know, I don't know Ivan that well yet, you know? I don't know Rama, you know, even some of Marjorie's sisters. I think, fuck it, let's get some of those on the next expansion, because they're interesting characters that we don't know everything about them yet, you know, so we can be in the honeymoon phase, you know, and they might be actually really intriguing to bring to a new expansion. But so yeah, hopefully Rama's got even beyond these next few patches, has got a lot going on. Alright, so here's Lieutenant Zhao. Hello. I got to turn the dialogue on again now. That's good. I should do this. Whenever I make Guild Wars content like this, I should always just mute the game so that I can just ramble and ramble and ramble. What is that? I'm like an inflated balloon. I've got 30 minutes of just verbal diarrhea, and then once it's over, we can chill. And the game can start dipping in for me. There we go. East Precinct sent you to help? Send you to help. Oh, no, that works. East Precinct send you to help. Thank whichever god is still watching. The city barrier is compromised. We need to clear out the Unchained Risen, or we're looking at an even bigger outbreak. You could say that. Compromised how? Normally, the shrines of the ocean protect us from the Unchained Risen, but the eyes were stolen by a couple of louts trying to kick up a little dust. A few Risen have already slipped through. Who would do that? Purists, I'd guess. They've been acting more bold recently. They're eager to highlight all the problems they could fix in Cantha. Got no qualms about making things worse to support their argument. Again, I feel like this is meta commentary. This is like me or other content creators like throwing shit fits and convincing their audiences that the game's worth abandoning just because it's not perfect, right? Any plan to catch them? They're stashed away somewhere in Grub Lane. If we can find where they're hiding out, we might be able to recover the Eyes of the Ocean that they stole. Restoring the shrines would be a great help. Until then, what's the situation with the Unchained? Well, let's start with the Grubs. They're usually the first to spring up during a breach. The Crows eat them and boom, we got an airborne infestation. We need to clear the area out. I really do like the zombie stuff, I gotta be honest. How do I clear the Grubs, squish them, and the Crows? I know how to do it. Let's talk about the Thieves. Purists, I'd guess. Alright, well, whatever. Yeah, and a bunch of the documents here in the city are really interesting, actually, when they talk about the Purists specifically trying to get the undead in here to fuck with everyone. They're trying to just tear it all down. I mean, we're going to find out that Minister Lee himself, under the pseudonym White Falcon, I believe, is doing it.
If those thugs keep stealing the eyes, the Risen are going to destroy our homes, or worse.
I understand your concern. I do.
No, I don't think you do. You're more concerned with the upper districts than you are with our problems.
That's how they feel. You know, I didn't actually know that you were forced to do the heart here. I think every time I've played this, I've already beaten the heart on that day. Let's get some batteries in us as well. By the way, I haven't talked this about Vindicator, but you know how when you legend swap, you get the art above your head and it looks pretty cool? I really like the Vindicator art. Ready? Look how colourful this is and how bold it is. Ready? I mean, it almost doesn't feel like Guild Wars 2 art, actually. It feels very different. But have you guys noticed a lot of the Elite Spec stuff in this X-Pack felt that way? It felt a bit like it didn't quite fit with the art style. I remember in the pre-release information thinking that the Harbinger elixirs looked unbelievably ugly and that they changed them. But they didn't. They went with that art the whole way through, so... Oh god, I've just realised I'm not looking at chat or anything here. I can start doing that now. Yeah, if you guys have got questions, things you want to chat about, let's do it.
I spoke with one family earlier today whose home disappeared right before their very eyes.
Alright.
Their youngest child was still inside.
Yeah, some of the holograms getting a bit sad. You know what I've been telling myself I wanted to do since End of Dragons came out, and that's just look at the wiki page of all the compiled information they have. Of course, for the first few months, there was no such resource. I bet it's all really well filled in now. I feel a bit bad how in the previous episode I was talking about how the wiki feels like it's emptier these days or doesn't quite have as many updates, because I still think it is one of the most impressive wikis in all of gaming. I mean, it is an incredibly amazing wiki, especially for the size of this game's, you know, population and, you know, this isn't the biggest game in the world. It's not a game that everyone talks about all the time, and yet our wiki rivals, you know, like Minecraft wikis and stuff. You know, it rivals really, really huge IPs in terms of quality. Like the Pokemon wiki or like Bulbapedia and stuff. I often think, wow, Guild Wars is better than this, you know. Guild Wars has more consistent, clearer information. Anyway, let's deal with these guys. These ruffians. Oh my god, that's so weird. I thought I was on Reaper there. I pressed 4 because I was expecting to be on Reaper. I haven't played Reaper for ages. So yeah, the balance patch came out. I do have some thoughts on it. I haven't done a video, you'll notice, about the balance patch. I actually haven't spoken to Boots for like a month.
We'd come here to pray every single morning. Respect what we do not know, she told me. What does that even mean?
It means stop speculating about shit you don't understand. Yeah, but I kind of want to do a balance with boots with him. I just don't know how it would go, because... Oh, weird. What? Spade of the Deep. Oh, okay, it's just an exotic. Usually, it used to be that I would have a more broad, like, general understanding of the balance and what they were going for, but not an acute understanding of, like, the raiding side of it or the fractal side of it. But now I feel like I would be in a reverse situation with that. I don't know. I think I'd just whine a lot. So I'm not sure whether I really want to do a balance video. I'm still curious to see if they fix. There's a Berserker trait, a Grandmaster Berserker trait that gives them 25% damage that has been bugged for Christ knows how long, and has literally deleted Berserker from, like, competitivity in PvE. It's unbelievable, and they just need to fix the bug. And I think they still haven't done it. And it's like, that's a whole elite spec sort of based on that, because 25% damage is a big difference on, like, what you'll bench and how you'll play. It's a real shame. Hopefully it was fixed, but the patch notes didn't say so. Oh my god, I'm doing this really inefficiently. So the other thing we need to do is crows. Now, I believe you're meant to do it on the Springer, but you might be able to do it on a Sky Scale. Shall we see? Last time I did this, I'm pretty sure I did it on Springer, because I was trying to, like... You know, because we did the expand... No, we can do it wherever we want.
I've got everything set up. Let's say we do some real police work.
I'd say about time. What'd you have in mind?
The East Precinct's been trying to identify a purist ringleader hidden in Kaineng, to no avail. They only know a code name, White Falcon. Min's been working at it for months. We might be able to help expedite her case. Meet me at the docks, and bring a skiff.
Oh yeah, we don't actually have to finish the heart. See, this is quite nice. This is how they treat Living World as well. Yeah, like, people think about, oh, how much is the new expansion stuff going to feel like Living World? There's already a lot of overlap between the kind of things we see in Living World and we see in expansions. By the way, I feel kind of bad for Sky Scales for Norn. Any big Norn on a mount, to be honest, the mount is going to struggle. Alright, yeah, let's just get on our skiff then. There we go. We've seen that heart. We know what it is. There's obviously the thing about the blue orbs there, which is cool enough for sort of a closed mystery now at this point. So yeah, what are you guys saying here? What's going on in chat? Minister Lee's voice bugs me more than his character. It doesn't match how he looks. Really? I never had that impression. That's always a weird one as well, though, because I don't know. It's very, very hard to get a sense of an appearance purely from a voice. I think, you know, famously that happens in radio all the time. You know, people have a perception of like a radio star, and then it never matches. I've had that with like countless YouTubers I've watched. I mean, people probably have that with me actually. Bulbapedia is impressive because of how it grabs various forms of media. But Pokemon's an interesting example because there are so many wikis with different specialities. Yeah, that's true. Like, some people use Bulbapedia, some people use Cerebi, don't they? Hello, Rama. Oh, there's that guy there. Should we turn our culling to low and low so we actually see people's skins and stuff? He literally doesn't even want to say anything to me until I go on the skiff. I think this is a really cool part of the story. By the way, this is nice. These are clearly people doing the story. Unless they're just here because I'm here. I assume they're doing the story. I'll wait for their boats to move on by. I want lots of this kind of thing in the next map as well. Just, I really think, if you, to sum up the video I did earlier today, and you guys can watch right now if you like, I think they need to just go really heavy with the turtle, with the skiffs, with fishing. Anything that is End of Dragon's Mastery related, now is the time to really make them shine. Give them as much content and fun as possible, because a lot of them are kind of a bit meh at the moment, and the more that I get to engage and interface with them meaningfully in the new map, the better. Alright, someone's just dumped their skiff here, so I'm just gonna park over there.
Alright, let's get this show on the road. River. You sure you know how to drive this thing?
I've ridden an Elder Dragon, Detective.
Just checking. Don't get the hat wet.
So yeah, I loved this. This is really cool. Just everything about riding around with NPCs like this, but also the optional objectives and everything. It's just the best. They still have this map closing issue. This sucks. Alright, so devices planted. We've got to device various plants. We've got to plant various devices around the city. I'm going to loop like this, and we'll try to get as much optional stuff as we can. And I'll try to go a little bit slow as well. Nice and ambient.
This looks like a good spot. Anchor her and I'll plant the bug.
Oh, you want me to anchor her, do you?
Well, that should do it. Let's get out of here before we're spotted.
If we find this White Falcon, will that be the end of the Purists?
No, an idea doesn't die with one person, but it'll make a difference.
See, the idea, I hope... I don't know where they're going with this. If we're getting a Jade Sea map, where's the space for... I mean, I suppose they could tell the story of other Purist leaders and stuff, not even in the city.
Definitely worth it. After we save the world from the void, that is.
You know, there's a funny thing. Let's loop around this so I can go on a rant. You know, there's this story about dungeons with Guild Wars. What should they do with dungeons? Do dungeons matter? I think they do. They have a certain marketability and stuff to outside players. If we just think of the concept of a dungeon as 5-man content that takes you through an interesting area of the world linearly, all right, let's just... If we boil the concept of a dungeon down to that, I think that dungeons would be a real benefit to this new concept they're talking about. You know, this idea that you're only going to get 2 maps in an X-Pack, a 3rd one through Living World, that's it. Not Living World, through the post patches. 3 maps per X-Pack, let's put it that way. 3 maps a year, 3 maps per X-Pack. It feels like so many areas of Tyria are not going to ever be visited now. That's kind of how it feels. And, you know, when I look at a feature like Dungeons, it's like, this would be perfect to do a feature called Dungeons. Where, okay, look, now you can have a Raisu Palace dungeon. You can have a Wizard's Tower dungeon. You can have this as a dungeon. Now, you could do that as a raid. You could do it as a strike mission. You could do whatever. You know, each of these formats has its own suggestions about how difficult it is, about how many players are there, about what kind of content you'll find in it and stuff. So who knows what they would eventually pick. But I really want to hear about that as well. That's the other thing I desperately want to hear from the studio before we move into whatever this new plan is. Do they have a way to give us those extra spots? I mean, I keep talking about, I'm so sorry to be such a broken record, but episode 1 of season 4 with Istan did do it with Farina. And it didn't call it a raid, it didn't call it a strike, it didn't call it a DRM, it didn't call it a dungeon. It just gave us a story mission that took place outside of the map, you know, and it worked. It's just, this is the map, most of the story took place here, but then there was an extra story instance over here. This was not an open world map, this is not a dungeon, this is not a raid, it's just, we went here as a part of the story. I mean, maybe ArenaNet can do this, and that's fine as well. Maybe it doesn't need a formal name or anything else or any expectations, but I would like to hear that they're going, that this is a priority, this type of thing is a priority, you know. If I want to go to where Kralkatorrik eventually landed one day, if I want to go, you know, just the weird extra play. And obviously here with the Key of Adashim, this is a good example of like how a raid could expand it slightly. Guild halls are an example of how you can expand slightly, a very good one with, you know, the old PvP island here. But I want to hear about that kind of stuff. Like, let's look at just Cantha alone. The Kirin Peak. Over here. When are we going to go there? If there's just going to be a Jade Sea map, that's it. What about the Great Turtle Highlands? What about the other half of Saitang? What about Drowned Kaineng and Raisu at the top? I mean, and then there's another question of like, is that an expansion itself? I think that would be such a dud, by the way. Imagine if this first expansion they do in a year, imagine if they're like, oh, by the way, the next expansion is just End of Dragons 2, and it gives you Kaineng and it gives you this. 30 quid, please. I mean, I think people would riot at that. The next X-Pack, people are expecting to go like here for an X-Pack, you know. People aren't expecting, oh, a little Desolation map and then a little, you know, Latenda Bog. As much as I'd like to go to the Mitani Keys and the Latenda Bog, I just don't see space for this stuff anymore. If they go for like much more detailed storytelling that is moving us all over core, then maybe, yeah, we can dart out of core every now and then to see like the Ascalon Wizard's Tower or to see this Wizard's Tower. Maybe they can all return to Claw Island and shit like that. But I don't know whether they're going to do that, you know, and I hate to make the Final Fantasy 14 comparisons constantly, but if you guys have played that game, you'll notice that that's how they do their post patches. They'll do an expansion where it's all in the new maps, all new stuff, but their post-series patches, they're mostly just back in, like, the core areas. You're back to Thanalan, and you're back to Gridania, and you're You know, you're at Limsa Lominsa, you're sort of zigzagging around the core world. And I really like that format because it sort of utilizes, we're going the wrong way again, it utilizes all those places. You know, Guild Wars is big, Tyria is big, and core Tyria is full of interesting stuff. So let's go back there as much as possible, you know. As long as there's just a possibility we get a slight diversion every now and then. I don't know. There's a lot to think about.
We are still receiving reports of obscure and unexplained events.
Sorry, I'm just catching up on chat here and sipping on coffee.
A vortex has opened up in a Shinjay residence kitchen.
We'll never get the Purist story or the Celestial Ministry stuff now with their content plan unless they do another Canton expansion. Well, yeah, I guess it depends on the timing of the things as well, but you would think that since they put it into End of Dragons, they have an idea on how to pay off of it. The unfortunate thing is, though, I think there's also a good chance that they locked everything in for End of Dragons. You know, all the little hints about Ergos and, you know, everything. There's hints about Kanaxai and stuff and the Outcasts and things. The collections about the vampiric ministry and all that kind of stuff. They had it all locked in. They had it all ready to go. And only afterwards decided that they were going to change things up a lot. Now, if that's the case, then yeah, you may genuinely never see it, and that sucks. But the thing there is, you got to remember, like, people think of this flippantly. They probably, I bet a lot of people are sitting there thinking, oh, they just came up with this last week. Or they're sitting there thinking, oh, they probably came up with this around Halloween. Or, oh, they probably came up with this, you know, during the Clockwork Chaos patch or something. It's likely it goes further back than all of that shit, you know. So maybe it's far enough back that it was with End of Dragons development, and we will get all of this stuff. I mean, we'll just have to see. I think there's a lot of really cool conversations that I hope the devs are having. You know, I would love to sort of see what they're thinking with some of this stuff. On, like, I think the real improvements we'll see to Guild Wars come to an analysis of how story patches work, how the story journal gives us story, how much is written, how much is voiced, how regularly we need battles, how much has to be in new environments. You know, all these kinds of things, all the very precise ways they actually craft the thing. Because there are probably more efficient ways of crafting the experience that give us way more bang for our buck. We get a lot more story. It's just they're no longer reinventing the wheel every battle, you know. Like, again, people whine about DRMs, and there were a lot of issues with DRMs, but DRMs were very, very efficient in terms of, like, it's pretty simplistic idea for what the gameplay is, and then they just layer dialogue over it, you know. People having conversations as it goes along. And I think that there's a lot to learn from DRMs, actually. Okay, anyway, we've planted one bug.
All right, let's get this show on the road. River, you sure you know how to drive this thing?
I've ridden an elder dragon, detective.
Just checking. Don't get the hat wet.
I think,
Anyway, a friend of mine in the Ministry of Intelligence lent me a few eavesdropping toys. Gods, I love my job. There's a couple of bridges along the river that the purists like to loiter around. Take us under them like we're a maintenance crew. I'll install the wires. With any luck, we'll hear some juicy purist intel.
I can't tell if this plan is really good or really bad.
But I bet you want to find out. We've got 3 bridges to hit. Just pull us up under each of them, anchor the boat, and I'll handle the rest.
Like, aside from this irritating, repeating dialogue here, this is a really good example as well, I think, of excellent storytelling. Like, this is only a novel experience to me because I haven't done it too much. But I love this. And this is just pure dialogue, you know? It's really cool. I really like chill, immersive sailing around here. I would accept so much more of this.
Didn't think you were the type to leave a job half done. Especially when the world's ending.
Navan dragged me there.
Whatever you're up to,
Thanks for that.
I'll be back at the...
Right. Hey, Rama. Can I ask about you and this Captain Min?
No, sir. You may not.
Hold on, this is so bugged. Why is he speaking twice? Why is he not on the boat? Why is my objective give Rama another lift? Why was he speaking over himself? Oh dear. I think it is good. It's just buggy. By the way...
All right. Let's get back to work.
Yeah, okay. Well, that bugged there. There's a little example of some storytelling I'm not interested in again. Oh, who do we ship Rama with? Ooh, I mean, maybe it's all right. I'm being a bit of a miser there, aren't I, really? Yeah, the most recent patch was just crazy. One of the most spaghetti buggy patches I've ever seen in the game. Just so much stuff broke, it's unreal. But it's a great patch. I've got to talk about it as well. I don't know where or when, though. I don't know. But they've added randomizers. Now, you guys have heard me talk about this in the past. They're in it now. Check it out. Randomized outfit. You guys have got to try this stuff. This is a brilliant patch. I mean, people really, really loved it online, which I'm very happy to see. But I like this patch because it's also going to earn them more money, frankly. I mean, you just know it will. Because now, you know, if you own lots of outfits, they're all kind of valid. Because you'll randomly swap into lots of different ones as you travel around. I appreciate that's not for everyone, but like mounts, you know? Like, okay, so I decided I like the Dreadnought on my Rev, okay? So now what I can do is love heart the Dreadnought. That's now favorited. And if I click randomize, what if I really like the Lithosaur as well? That looks pretty cool. If I want my Rev riding that and I feel like that matches his theme, well, I can love heart that as well. And now every time I mount, it will either be the Dreadnought or the Lithosaur. How good is that? So now, whenever I see another mount come on the gem store, I'm not going to think, well, I've already got a Dreadnought, fuck it. I'm going to think, oh, I can add this to my rotation or whatever. I can add this. And, you know, so I've already started setting up on various characters where I've got, you know, my Ellie. My Ellie actually rides the Lithosaur. I probably won't put that on the Rev, to be honest. The only issue with it right now is dyes are a bit iffy, you know, because the dyes sort of come across all of them. But there's loads of randomizers. And the wardrobe randomizer, I mean, oh my god. You can just click randomize appearance. Look at this. And all your skins, it will just randomly pick them. And you'd be surprised how good some of this is in the end. And all the different appearances you can have. I mean, it is cool. I really like it. This is actually so much more novel and fun than I even could have guessed it would be. Like, look at that. You see that guy with the scarf a second ago? I mean, and the more skins you get, just the more crazier. I mean, that looks good. What is that? That's the precursor legendary stuff in it. You got the Whispers backpack. You'll notice the dyes aren't randomizing with it. You got the snowman helmet. I had a lot of fun doing this on my Asura the other day. I mean, it's a great patch. It really is a great patch. Oh, speaking of which, yeah, I have this backpack now. It looks so good on a Norn. I have it on my Asura, and you can't make out all these amazing details. But, I mean, what am I supposed to do? I have two Asura, and I hate both of them in terms of, like, fashion wars. But 2 out of 8 characters, I can probably just about squeeze through.
I can't work if we're untethered, Commander. Drop the anchor.
Sounds like quitter talk. Well, whatever.
Done with this one. The purest problem in Kainen got 10 times worse when White Falcon came onto the scene. I don't know what'll ever stop them. I thought the border opening would give them a little perspective. But so far, it's only fanned the flames.
I'd like to think hearts can be won and societies can change. There are things we face that are bigger than all of us.
Like the Void?
Like the Void.
I like that line. You know, a lot of people will not shut up about, like, Awokener and politics and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, I think they shuttle the line reasonably well with most of the dialogue in this expansion. That one's alright.
This is, actually where I grew up. My dad's a little much. Would rather he didn't know I was here.
Is there a little hint about his dad's? What's going on there? You know, if we take him on multiple adventures, maybe that will turn into something. I think that's quite interesting. You know, I think one way in which ArenaNet's always been quite weak with character storytelling is, like, the relationships that these different characters have. Like, who are people's parents? Who are their brothers? Who are... You know, they have the information in there. There's endless information about Casimir and Jory's family, for example. But it feels, like, just uninteresting or not captivating in some way to me. I mean, Marjorie at least has finally got a bit more interesting now that we've met her other sisters. But I mean, they're not the most amazing characters. I don't know. It's the end of Dragon. It's a very feminine end to the End of Dragons. If you do like the final like collections and quests, all that stuff with Marjorie, it's just the energy is not particularly well suited to my, you know, edgelordy whatever, like, disposition. So they're fun, but I'm hoping to have some, you know, tortured souls to hang out with as well. Some more megalomaniacal pricks like Banger. Just to sort of balance things out.
Junkyard on the other side is a known hotspot. I, had my first kiss in there. The love tunnel, kids call it. Don't get any ideas, Commander.
You know, there's a certain novelty to hearing, you know, girls cutely going wee about Cat Island and stuff, you know, and it is like a fun, frivolous end to the expansion. But I don't know, I want to put the screws on some of these characters and see them in a more upset position.
All the jade shipped through Echo Vault arrives here.
Oh yeah, Timey's parents, good one as well.
Brotherhood like to target it.
This is just such a good scene. I've always liked this in RPGs, where you can just go slightly out of your way to get a little bit of extra dialogue. It's just so good. That's what I really like about like playing Mass Effect, you know, like the party you have changes the dialogue that you get, and you just, oh, it's so good. So we're going to go into the Tunnel of Love. I love that line as well, because that seems like, you know, oh, they're making a statement or something, because obviously, you know, that would be a gay kiss. Unbelievable. But it's the exact same dialogue no matter what character you are, and I kind of like the way that works out in the end. By the way, you'll see I have good reflections on here, and it does really work in some of these areas of End of Dragons. Love these rotating fish. We'll meet Zodja's child eventually. Zodja's child. Yeah, I still don't really understand that. The whole Zodja pregnancy conspiracy theory. If anyone wants to explain to me that a little bit more in detail, I'm all ears. There have been two big pregnancy theories. One is Zodja's pregnancy, and the other one is, wasn't it Rox and Bram or something? Based on the end of Season 4, people thought that Rox was going to tell Bram she was pregnant. I mean, I don't know what these people are huffing. I really don't.
Drop anchor and keep her steady.
Will do.
All right, that's the last of them. Let's head back to the docks. I gotta ask, do you think we can actually stop the Void? It morphs reality.
I have to have faith in our allies. All the more reason we need to convince June and Lee to help us.
Well, you have this mid-level detective on your side. If the Void obliterates me, tell Minister Lee I died a hero.
And you know what? This is an edgy expansion. It is an edgy. I do quite like it. There's elements of the Void in terms of world building that I'm not happy with, but aside from that, you know, it's pretty cool. Oh, it's a twisted Rule 34. Oh, is it really? I see. I didn't know that. Oh, so it's what? Just some gross bestiality thing, is it? Is that it? Oh, I get it. It's just a joke. Well, I mean, obviously, no, I don't. I've never thought of any sensible reason why that would have been a storyline in the game, but it involves blighting pods. Really? Well, that kind of dates it, you know. I feel like that immediately kind of reveals what period of time we're talking about. I mean, I suppose the last time we really saw Zodja was the blighting pods. That was a very interesting thing that kind of fizzled out as well. I liked how HOT ended with a decision. And it was like, oh, is this going to be a bit like the personal story? Is this going to affect the future? I have to pick Zodja or Logan. Wow, that's crazy, right? And then it just meant nothing. My Kaineng looks so pretty. I'm glad you think so.
That was some top-notch spy work, Commander. You know, I heard Mintel might have some open positions in the near future.
Thanks, but my life has excitement to spare.
I set up a receiver we can use. It's stashed away on higher elevation. Better reception and all that. You head up there, and I'll head back to the office and try and get in touch with Min again. Let her know what we're up to.
I am itching, really, to set up a Reshade install again. Because there are new things going on with Reshade. There are different shaders you can put on that do different things. Last time I was looking at it, I was messing with like the G-Shade stuff, with like the fake ray tracing and, you know, the screen space reflections and stuff. And there was a lot of really cool things happening. But that was on my like crashing PC and stuff, and now we've been embroiled in this like DirectX transition for ages. What I really want, you know, ArenaNet keep talking about how DirectX is gonna like be finalized and stuff. I really want to. I'm really hopeful that they're squeezing something more out at the end there. And then once we've transitioned through that, I'm going to look into optimizing the game again, and I'll try and get another Reshade thing on, because I think it can look really good. You know, just a little bit of sharpness, just a little bit more contrast, and then some fancy effects might be really cool. But yeah, it depends on DirectX. And you know, there's a weird thing. Does anyone else feel this way? You know, back when we used to use DirectX 12 proxy, you know, the fan-made community one. I'm going to say something so horrible here. I feel like that felt more stable and smooth and fluid than this. And it was more customizable as well. That's probably placebo. And I'm just not remembering how bad it was or something. I don't know though. Like, I have some distinct memories of when you set up DirectX 12 proxy perfectly. It was so smooth. And it was so rock solid. It felt great. And I don't know whether I've really experienced that with ArenaNet's DirectX 11 yet. I don't know whether I've... So, I mean, it's weird. And the official DirectX 11, as far as I understand, killed the community DX12 proxy. It's not in development anymore, is it? So, I don't know. It's weird. I hope to see something extra, you know. And it's the same with this TP rework thing, you know. Like, apparently it was going to come this patch, and then it didn't come this patch, so it's still slow. There are some amazing, like, ArtStation posts online, like behind-the-scenes ArtStation posts, of really fancy-looking Black Lion Trading Company stuff that looks super cool. I'm hoping once that's in, the Chromium thing, that they'll be able to do stuff like that as well. So both of those things I really want to see a lot from, but I don't know whether I can trust we'll really get a lot from them. Anyway, here finally, I could have dumped Rama in the water there. He would have talked about the whole Navan thing if I had dumped Navan in the water. But we've been a good little boy, and we haven't dumped anyone in the water. There were so many issues. No, there is a DirectX 11 212 proxy. Is there? How is it? What's your experience with that? Please tell me. Please tell me it's amazing and I should use it. New Kaineng so empty. Yeah, I know a lot of people have got problems with this map. Actually, there was someone in Spud that was talking a lot about it yesterday.
May, you are looking ravishing today.
What'd I say about using names? Goddamn idiot.
Sorry. Forgot we're supposed to use code names. Hey, who do you think White Falcon is anyway?
Hell if I know. The Empress herself? Gotta be someone high up the food chain. Did you drop off the dossier?
Do I look like some kind of Luxon street trash? Of course I dropped it off. With the kooky recruiter over in Grub Lane, like you said.
Good. That drop-off's going straight to White Falcon, so it's your ass on the line if you screwed it up.
Yeah.
We've got our target. I know which jackass recruiter they're talking about. Want to pay our purest friend a little visit?
With pleasure.
I quite like the bromance between big Norn characters and Rama. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, by the way, just to get back to the idea of this series, End of Dragons 1 year later, what strikes me that worked really well about the expansion, what strikes me that didn't. You know, I've made a couple of comments that I hope aren't too buried. You know, like, I genuinely think Ekavald was the best map of this X-Pack, actually. Like, when I got all that distance from the game, when I just looked at it very fresh, Ekavald and the big cathedrals and stuff with the stained glass, that really... Wow, that was evocative, and that stuck with me much more than the other maps. But I'll say as well, one thing End of Dragons did very well was this phase of the expansion. You know, when Heart of Thorns came out, one of my big criticisms was that it's just a straight line. And it felt too quick, especially for killing an Elder Dragon, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's always this thing, they're too short, they're too small, they're too short, they're too small, over and over and over again. But Heart of Thorns had this extra thing where it was just like, you just went. What Heart of Thorns really needed was it needed to take you to Auric Basin, and then there would be like, you'd settle into the city, and you'd live at the city, and there'd be a time jump, and there'd be a bunch of like little quests and stories as we loop around. We return to Verdant Brink for a bit, we do expeditions to the guild, I don't know. But it's, you know, a good expansion, a good story goes around a bit, and we slowly move in. But it was just a straight line, and that was a criticism I had. With POF, I heavily applauded and fell in love with the fact that we went up, and do you remember there's this little beat where you come back to Amnoon? Do you guys remember that? You actually return, and that was such a novel thing to me, because remember, throughout Season 3, what did we do? Essentially, it was just a straight line, you know? We never returned to Ember Bay after Lake Doric, or whatever, right? It's just a straight line. So when this happened, I was over the moon, but nonetheless, that was still a very brief moment. The rest of it then just went back to being a straight line. And the expansion peaked here, and then you just zip through, right? Just a straight line. End of Dragons, they do a straight line, and then we start returning, and I really love it. We come back here for a good amount of story. We come back here in a second for a good amount of story. It's still too small and narrowed out here at the end. But the zigzagging around, this was 10 out of 10 for me. This was so good. When we think about mini X-Packs, so anyway, just to finish that, I think a year later, I'm still very impressed and happy with that. When we think about mini X-Packs, by the way, let's say it was Kirin Peak plus here. If that means a mini X-Pack will be like this, before finally stopping, and then the last map, and then the post-patch series is like this or something, I don't know. You get what I mean? I would want lots of Quarteria in those two, to tell you the truth. But yeah, that could be quite good as well. But I loved this phase here. This was the first time in any of the 3 expansions I feel like they really nailed that concept of... So here, for example, I should randomize a bunch of new mounts for him. It's hard, though, because what I want to do is pin mounts to templates. Like, here I look like a robot, so I want robot mounts. If I'm playing as a Herald, I'm a Mistwalker. And so I want, like, Misty mounts. If I'm playing as... my Renegade, I'm a Flame Rider, or I don't know what you want to call it. I would want fiery mounts. But since you can't tie cosmetics to templates, it's sort of a bit hard to figure out really good mounts. Anyway, I forget what I was saying. Yeah, I like zigzagging back and through the maps. Genuinely, I forgot completely what my point was. Hello, sir.
Yeah, saw him talking to people earlier. He attracts a creepy clientele. Swear he was handing out pamphlets.
The news said criminal activity's been up in this part of town. We should keep an eye on him.
How would the X-Packs work when you need to have End of Dragon sent account there? Well, it doesn't matter, really, does it? It's arbitrary. You think it's an issue, but it's not. A good example of this is... Bloodstone Fen. Ostensibly, it's only attached to the jungle. It's a jungle map. So how can you have Bloodstone Fen for players without HOT? But the truth is, you can not own HOT, but you do own that one episode. And it's fine, you know. Because they've always had this horrible thing where there's not actually a way to walk up like that. The way you get to Bloodstone Fen is via airship, via... Ratasum, you know, it goes Ratasum, which takes you in there, which takes you out, and you don't actually need to walk there. And it's the same here, you know. You might not own End of Dragons, but they'll give you a different way to the Kirin Peak, you know. It's not actually a problem. Can we kill this guy, I guess?
Hand over the dossier.
Okay, take it.
We get a hero challenge while we're at it.
Just finished having a chat with our purist friend.
Did he sing?
With surprising ease.
Nice. Min's ready to see us. And she chewed Mogi out for making us do his busy work. We can pass along the intel you got. I'm sure she'll appreciate it.
People in chat saying Heart of Thought, Season 3 requires Heart of Thorns to play. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how they specifically bundled. You get you guys are just being pedants. You get the principle, right? It doesn't actually matter. They may have economically bound Season 3 to HOT, but that's not technically got anything to do with the principle I'm illustrating, does it? But yeah, I mean, I guess technically that's true. God, I'm so happy we're moving away from Living World and the gem gates and all the arbitrary walls that get put up that stop people doing A, B, C, or D. Oh, it's good to be finally clear. Do you know what? It's like I feel like Guild Wars, with this announcement, I feel like they've been carrying around all this baggage, you know? They've been weighed down by all this excess over-engineered bullshit for years and years and years that's done nothing but hold them back. And now they've just dropped it on the floor and they're free, you know, and they can just fucking stretch and they can make content, they can make expansions and do patches that make the expansions bigger. Easy, sorted. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh. I'm really looking for... I hope that they nail these. I really hope that they nail these. I think as long as they get the first one out and it's really good, we'll be in a good place for the game. You don't understand what I mean by gem gate? Well, if you're a new player and you've just picked up Guild Wars and you want to play, I don't know, a star to guide us, because... Let's say you want to play War Eternal, right? Because you can get the sky scale here. You want to do this. You want a sky scale. Well, you're not allowed to play that. You're not allowed to go to that map or do anything unless you pay gems. There is a gate of gems. You know, that's what people mean when they say gem gate. And new players have to struggle with that, or every little patch. You want the roller beetle? Same thing. You know, the mounts are the big ones, but do you want the Signet of Agony? Well, same thing. You've got to do that at Lake Doric, you know, for your downstate. Do you want EMPs? Well, you've got to do that in the Icebreed Saga. Actually, were there gates for the Icebreed Saga? I can't remember why they did that.
Out at the old Kainen restoration meeting this afternoon.
I get that we're under...
Self-identifying.
You can drop the disguise, Commander. She knows about you. This is Min. We grew up together in the, fancy part of town.
Real fancy. Even the cockroaches wanted out of that dump. Speaking of cockroaches, sorry Mogi gave you the runaround, but he's right about us being swamped. Lee keeps piling stuff on.
Let me know if there's more I can do. I think Lee's just stressed.
Well, he can join the club. I know, you've got a soft spot for him.
Guess I can relate to him in some ways. His early days, at least. He can actually be easy to talk to, when he wants to.
Well, he's definitely got a soft spot for you. I told him you'd be there soon. Might want to head over.
Make any headway on that Purist case?
I feel like I'm about to make a breakthrough, but a million distractions keep popping up. Like earlier, I guess some guy was in our lobby shouting. Now I have to look into that. The city's coming unhinged.
Yeah. Wild times we're living in.
Did they ever explain what was going on with that guy? I feel like there's so much more under the surface in the city that I just still don't know. I do get a good impression from it. I know, so people are asking me in chat, what was that? That there's too few NPCs and stuff in Kaineng? I don't know, man. There's a certain... I think people wanted this to be like Cyberpunk or something, you know, or like GTA, where there's, you know, all these NPCs that, you know, can be beautifully rendered and they all sort of are wandering around and you can stagger through the crowds and stuff. I don't know, guys. It's Guild Wars 2. It's only ever going to do a city environment as well as it can. And this map is huge. I don't know. I get people's disappointment with it, but I sort of think they did as well as I expected them to do. By the way, Rama in his hat and all that, just so that you guys know, I've got to show you guys this. I alluded to it a second ago, now that we're done with the story step. My my engineer, what do you guys think? I have this set up now, my my mechanist. I only have Ham set up at the moment. I guess I can set up a power mech at some point. But again, I need more build templates. I've spent just so much. But check it out, this is like a Jade Tech outfit. I actually put a lot of work into this in terms of getting all the Jade Tech gear takes a lot of work and, you know, all the research notes and stuff. So this is the new Jade Tech armor, but I put a little bit of Asuran flair on there, just a little bit. Then it's the Jade Tech backpack, which is Canark coins. So I was doing the casino. It's the new Jade shield and then the elite specialization weapon, which funnily enough, I actually prefer the earlier one. This is the upgraded one, percussive maintenance, right? Cool name and stuff. But the earlier one's got like the proper Jade fist. I think that looks better. But this one's bigger and glows a bit and is technically the high. Oh, and I'm wearing the Jade gauntlets as well. But yeah, so I got that set up. I kind of want to look like this on a warrior though, because I kind of want to look like Rama. I think I want a Blade Sworn that looks like Rama, but I think they specifically set it up so that you can't do that. Without the outfit. I think there's an outfit, and that way they can sell it to you for real world money if, you know, which is what a lot of people will do when they see gem prices. So yeah. But we'll see. Just slowly working through them. When I'm done with this, I'm going to have every spec with a meta build that looks like it's from that era of the game, you know, like my Berserker will be in like HOT skins with the Berserker iconic stuff. My Spellbreaker will be in like, you know, desert skins, and it will have the Spellbreaker iconic stuff and so on, but for all 9. So I'm really enjoying setting up as well. Anyway, big story beat here. We're finally going to meet Lee, and what do you guys think? Lee's... I mean, I've spoiled this. We all know. It's Ender Dragons a year later. Lee is the White Falcon. He is a purist. He's been undermining the city. He doesn't like us. We're filthy foreigners. Even when presented with evidence that we're innocent, he's not going to be happy. He doesn't really see the big picture about the Void. And we're walking into a trap. We're going to have a scene in a minute that's a lot like Die Hard. Die Hard 1, I watched it this Christmas. There's a great elevator scene with Bruce Willis. Captain America Winter Soldier did an homage to it years later. And now here's Guild Wars doing it as well, in the name of the law. I haven't heard some Victor and Arkamura speak to me, or even Shiro. I guess it's because I'm not lingering in their attunement much.
Place is always empty this time of night. Gives me the creeps. But less commotion's probably a good thing. Lee usually works late, so he should be in his office. Let's take care of this.
There's a big thing with this strike mission coming up that I totally missed, by the way, on my original like playthroughs of it.
Evidence, right?
Of course. Have a little faith in me.
Just making sure we've covered our bases. Lee can be tough to get through to sometimes. There's sort of an art to talking with him. Let me start things off, then you can back me up.
When should I chime in?
You'll know. Just be patient and pay attention.
And that's not all the...
Lee doesn't intimidate me.
Good. That makes one of us.
Dude, I like playing as a Norn. I've got so much testosterone and, like, bravado. He doesn't intimidate me. Yeah, you're fucking right he doesn't. Look at me. Jesus Christ. I mean, you got to use the embiggening tonic as well. I mean, this is the way to play. I'm a fucking raid boss. I wouldn't want to go near this Norn.
I'd say you've got a promotion on the horizon. But first things first. Bring the suspect downstairs for questioning. We have a long night ahead of us.
Sir, before we do that, you should know there have been some developments in the case.
Go on.
I hate to admit it, but I think we've been pursuing the wrong perp. I believe this suspect to be innocent.
Sounds like someone's been charmed by Ambassador Meade's dubious narrative. Don't tell me you're falling for their lies.
No, sir. But I think our previous assumptions may not be as cut and dried as we thought.
What isn't cut and dried? This outsider's been part of every breach of national security since we opened our borders.
It's true.
That includes the reactor incident. Must I remind you their dragon's glowing fingerprints are all over the crime scene?
Also true.
I'm aware. But a new piece of evidence was recovered that aligns with the commander's story. It points to another culprit, an Asura named Anka. She led an Aetherblade mutiny prior to the attack.
Fine. Bring her in for questioning as well, if you feel so compelled.
She's dead.
I'm afraid I can't do that, sir.
Oh!
She's dead.
Shame. Not that it matters. We'll see how well this one's story holds up after a few hours of interrogation.
Boom, now.
This was used at the reactor, Minister.
What exactly?
Oh, no, I messed up. Hold on. I'm so sorry to do this, because we're going to have to listen to the dialogue again. But I do actually want this achievement. I forgot. Okay, there's an achievement here, which is present the evidence at the right moment. I don't know what the right moment is, though. Maybe before Anka, we talk about Anka being dead. Is that the right moment? I don't know. I mean, I could wiki it. What do we think? Does anyone in chat want to give me a hint, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, because I do genuinely... I want to finish... I haven't got this yet. I need the Luxon Brooch. I'm grinding on these POF ones. If you guys missed it at the start of the stream, I was talking about this. These are brutal, but, I mean, the End of Dragons ones are easy. It's just... I need to present the evidence at the right time. Don't worry, it's very obvious. I'm about to miss another achievement. Guilt by association. Return to Sai Tung to find Crystal Bloom whilst you're on the run. Oh, really? Find out where the Crystal Bloom went off to. Wow, that's cool as fuck. Let's go do that. Oh. I do like this style. I'm really happy we're doing this at the moment. This is a whole part of the expansion story I still haven't seen. Oh, hell yeah, I'll do this. Do you guys think if this mini X-Pack thing, if these... I know it's only going to be 2 maps, right? But do you think if by the end of the year, by the time of their quarterlies are done, it matches the same experience of EOD, that's good for you? Or not? I don't know. It's kind of hard to just enjoy the game at the moment because I keep spinning everything in my head back to the goddamn thing. So yeah, we're on the run. The Crystal Bloom were associated with us. I swear I heard something about this though. Didn't I hear that they'd been taken in for questioning? So what have they done? Just removed the NPCs? I guess it's totally possible for them to do that. We've seen them do it multiple times in the past. Oh look, there's Ministry of Security guys here. This is cool. Hello. Oh, this guy's still here. That's a bit awkward. Commander, it's good to see you. Is there anything you need? Yeah. Yeah, that sort of sucks. That's the crafting. I need to light these lanterns too. Ministry of Security. What, did you just come on in? Hello, the sniper. Wow, is she from the instance coming up? You there outside of this cave is strictly off limits due to an investigation involving the Commander and the Dragon Aurene. I think you've got the Commander all wrong. I'm getting a big tonic every time I feel threatened. Is that so? Would you happen to know anything about their whereabouts? No, I do not. Oh, and we're not allowed in. Wait, so how do I get the achievement? Yeah, the thing I missed about this Minister Lee thing coming up is that all the mini-bosses are named after, like, crappy speculative ideas the community came up with the EOD Elite specs. Like, it's called the Mech Rider, and it's called the Mind Blade, and all that stuff. I mean, I say crappy. I don't think they are all crappy. But yeah, it's clearly a tongue-in-cheek joke about the community speculation. I quite like that. Yeah, I love this character on the big tonic as well, because the Vindicator jump is just so huge. I was doing this in Lion's Arch, the Battle for Lion's Arch stuff, and you know, you are the same size as the bosses. It just feels great. Yeah, I don't know, actually. Find out where they went. Go to the prison. You're pretty sure Mind Blade came from me? No, Boots liked the word Mind Blade. Boots was definitely all about Mind Blade. If I remember, I mean, maybe I'm forgetting this. And I swear, I'm not trying to be deliberately deceitful if this is the case. My memory of it is that he said Mind Blade, and I was like, that sounds terrible. That's my memory. It could be reversed. I think I was saying shit like Scion, wasn't I? People's hang up about the name Virtuoso is dumb. Well, no, it's not really dumb, because what they've done is wasted a useful concept, you know, of like an instrument player, like a bard or whatever. But not necessarily. Look, now we have more of a clear idea of where they want to take the game in the future. And if that's no elite specs, then a lot of the discussion about this stuff kind of doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, let's try and keep focused here. Too much stuff's going on at once. There's this achievement. Find out where they went. How am I supposed to find out where they went? There's no clues here. What am I supposed to do? Just check all of EOD? They don't know their whereabouts. You believe they were working on internal names for them. It's good to see you, Kroof, by the way. I subscribed to you the other day, by the way. I don't know what it was, but I've watched some of your videos, and like just never thought to subscribe for whatever reason. I don't know. It just doesn't come across my mind. And I got recommended another one the other day, and I was like, why am I not subscribed? But yeah, I think I watched your recent one about just the news. I think it was actually. Anyway, they were working internal names for them. Concept art of the elite specs were titled Mind Blade Enforcer. It was on the art station. There you go. I mean, that makes sense too. So it's not really a tongue-in-cheek joke about the community. The Dank Blade. Oh god, that's terrible. All right, I guess I'm gonna go to Wiki because I'm scanning chat here, but there's not enough back seating going on, which disappoints me. Okay, so let's see. The achievement is called on. It's just called On the Run, isn't it? On the Run. Nope, it's not called that. Wiki did not give me a hit. A woman of culture, guilt by association, objection. Yeah, this is what we're trying to get. Nice little Phoenix Wright reference there. The dog is now snoring. He had loads of energy. He was upset and stuff. Now he's snoring over there. Here we go. Oh, guilt by association. Guilt by association. Visit your allies in prison. Oh, so they have just been imprisoned. So when someone said a second ago, visit the prison, they meant the Crystal Bloom's in there. Hold on, but in prison? I don't remember an actual prison at the precinct. Talk to Mayurin while in the name of the law or wait at the world is active. They're in the Saitong prison. Oh, the prison at Saitong. I remember. There is a prison here where we were in prison. Where the game started. Okay. Wow, and you can only do it during these 2 story steps. That's a cool achievement. I like that a lot. So that dialogue from the sniper is a bit rough, though, because it gave me the impression that they hadn't been found. And the name of the achievement... Oh, no. I was going to say, it all gave me the impression that they'd escaped, that they'd slipped away. But no, look, here they are. Oh, this is cool. Hello, everyone. Oh, wait. Who are you? Mayurin. Were you the person from the Icebridge Saga? And who appeared right at the start of End of Dragons? I think you were, right? Alongside, like, who else was there? Weren't some of the novel characters there? Oh, thank Aurene. It's good to see another mainlander. Have you heard anything from Mead or the commander? It's me. I'm in disguise. Oh, of course. They don't recognize me because I'm in the disguise as well, yeah.
I see.
Oh my god, his voice!
It's you, Commander. Any tips for the recently incarcerated?
Oh, if I'd got that other achievement to escape, maybe I could have helped him out. Oh, that's so cool. There's an awakened in there as well. I'm glad to know you're okay, though. I wouldn't linger too long. I wouldn't want the guards catching on to you. What are you doing in here? We stayed behind to protect Aurene's sanctuary, but the Minister of Security rounded us up so quickly after Yong. I suppose we made ourselves easy targets. We'll clear your names, don't worry. Aurene's helping to contain Suwon in Dragon's End. As noble as ever, we should stay by her side helping, not here in these cells. I can only hope some of the others made it there. This is good. This is even extra stuff that rounds out the period of the game that feels like it goes too quickly. Love it. That's so cool. Thank you for that tip-off in chat, by the way. I would have missed that. And that was not a listed achievement here either. It was hidden. That is cool. Very impressed. All right, let's go back now and let's try and do objection at the right time. Ugh, there's no good waypoint. I guess we'll go over here. It's funny that I forgot about the prison, which is where we actually opened the game.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Interior.
You don't like people referring to Dragon's End as Dragon's End in-game? Eh? Characters. You need to do this now. You need to pay more attention to the achievement tab. Oh, I don't blame you for missing it. I mean, I certainly did. Again, though, just to tack a comment onto that, that is the number one... You know, when I did like a couple of new player guides, the number one thing that I just have to stress... I'm not saying anyone in chat right now is a new player or whatever, but I think that's the biggest thing about Guild Wars. Like, achievements are not what you think they are in this game. It's content. It's story, especially in End of Dragons. You know, they're quests, they're adventures to go on, they're extra things that round the game out. And it's just so horrendous the way the UI is made. I think one of the biggest changes I would advocate for the game right now is you see how this says achievements? I think that there should be achievements, and beneath it should be a whole different thing we tab into called like tasks, or called quests, or called lore, or called extra story, or something. I don't know, whatever phrase you like. And achievements like this should be in there. This is not an achievement, this is content. And I wish that they like separated them, you know. This is an achievement. An actual achievement would be like, get all those dodges and jumps while fighting Drakkar. That's an achievement, you know. That's just a bonus thing you can do while playing the story. You know, that it's like a gameplay mechanic thing. Stuff that's actually giving you plot and rounding out the world and world building. You know, things that feel like quests and adventures, they're not achievements. It's really bad. I would split them away. And also, by the way, to add more onto this is kind of stepping on the toes of another video I want to make. But I also, if you take a category like, I don't know, collections, basic collections. Look at this. It's just a nightmare. It's just an explosion of shit. What there should be is up here. There should be tabs. And the first tab should be core. And the only things that are in there are the base game core ones. And then the next tab is Heart of Thorns. And in that tab, there's the Heart of Thorns and Season 3 collections. And the next tab is POF. And the next... There should be tabs. Now, why is that important, okay? For me, as a veteran player, I click... oh, I love Guild Wars 2. I want to play Guild Wars 2, but what do I do? What do I do? I don't know. Okay, well, all right. Let's just look at specializations here. Okay, there's a couple here. I'll just work on these. Easy. And I understand that my goal is to finish the category, so I'll go for Prima Donna next. It's within reach, right? Or maybe I'll click Rare Collections and think, okay, there's a few here, but I can start working on these. I get it, right? And there's not too many to look through. I have a good sense of what I'm aiming for, right? And the same is for, you know, legendary weapons, if I want to do more precursor things, or if a new trinket comes in, there'll be a couple. It's easy. For me, as a veteran, this is adequate. But what about someone who's not a fucking loser that just spent 10 years playing the same game? What about a normal person who's just started playing? They don't get this. What they get is a fucking bomb of hundreds of empty boxes. Literally, that's not even an exaggeration. Hundreds of empty everywhere. And in no way is that actually useful to them to, like, get a grip on the game. Like, they'll watch some YouTuber prick that's like, oh, hi, I'm WoodenPotatoes. Just do achievements. Achievements are the content. And so they're like, okay, WoodenPotatoes, I'll try and take that advice. They log in and they just scroll through epic amounts of, like, shit there. And it's like, well, what do I pick? Like, how am I supposed to know what to prioritize or what to pick? Because it's all, there's too much bundled here. So proposal 1 for me is to separate achievements and tasks. And immediately then, a new player knows, just do the quests, do the tasks, do the story-based ones. But then also, if you do the tab thing is really good because now they know, oh, there's only a few from core Tyria, and those are quite old, and the prices are probably easy for that. Let's do the Tyrian rare collections. Let's finish that tab. And then we'll look at a different tab. And then we'll look at a different... And now it's like, but now they don't get this bomb of stuff. It's like, okay, End of Dragons is the new expansion. I'm just going to focus on the End of Dragons tab. Yeah? And ArenaNet kind of try at the moment with the color coding, but it's not good enough. There should be tabs. See, and these are ways in which the UI, like, could do so much better to keep people playing the game and understanding what there is to go for. It's ridiculous at the moment the way I'll sit there and I'll say, just do achievements. That will give you things to do. And people, like, are not... Unless you're on top of it, unless you've been there every patch and you're following it along, it's not good advice and people don't know what to do. So anyway, that's another thing. I want to do a video where I say, like, my 10 biggest things I think Guild Wars needs. These 10 things, to get these 10 things in. That is one of the things on the list, and I really believe in that. For what it's worth, at like number 13, 14, 15, I probably would have said randomizers, and they're actually in, which is amazing. The randomizers is a very cool patch. Again, kind of motivated by the fact they'll probably get more money out of that. But...
This is always
all right, let's do this again.
Gives me the creeps. But less commotion's probably a good thing. Lee usually works late, so he should be in his office. Let's take care of this.
Yes, Rama. We've got to get big again. We got to... Oh, and by the way, speaking of getting big, one of my big things on that video is about tonics. I have like a whole tonic rework already.
Lee can be tough to get through to sometimes. There's sort of an art to talking with him. Let me start things off, and you can back me up.
When should I chime in?
You'll know. Just be patient and pay attention.
It's almost comical. Look at when I do the dodge, like seeing us just shoot up at the ceiling. It's so funny.
That makes one of us.
Okay, it's very obvious when to present the evidence. Interesting. It's just called objection. I do love Phoenix, right?
I knew you were the man for the job, Rama. I'd say you've got a promotion on the horizon. But first things first. Bring the suspect downstairs for questioning. We have a long night ahead of us.
Sir, before we do that, you should know there have been some developments in the case.
Go on.
I hate to admit it, but I think we've been pursuing the wrong perp. I believe this suspect to be innocent.
Sounds like someone's been charmed by Ambassador Meade's dubious narrative. Don't tell me you're falling for their lies.
No, sir. But I think our previous assumptions may not be as cut and dried as we thought.
What isn't cut and dried? This outsider's been part of every breach of national security since we opened our borders. That includes the reactor incident. Must I remind you their dragon's blood...
This was used at the reactor, Minister.
Boom.
Nice.
What exactly am I looking at?
A piece of the device used in the reactor incident. Aether Blade Tech. Anka, the Blade's first mate, used it to drain the dragon's magic during the airship crash. She then staged a mutiny. Later, she used that stored magic to cause the reactor incident. The signature matches the crystals at the scene.
To say this story sounds far-fetched would be putting it mildly.
Minister, you taught me to believe in this organization, in the values it stands for. If I have even a shred of proof that points towards someone's innocence, it's my duty to take it seriously. Right now, the biggest threat isn't the commander. It's the dragon rampaging in the Jade Sea. We need to get her under control, and June's our best bet for that. The commander's willing to help with June once you give us the okay. I need you.
Oh, this
to
was a
trust
cool
me.
little moment as well. The whole using his personal name or whatever.
Very well. Let's get going. Oh, and Rama, if you ever use my given name again, you'll be on desk duty until you retire. I have transport available on the roof. Should get us to June fairly quickly.
Lee is such a weird character. In some ways, I really like what they did with him. In some ways, I think he's a cartoon and he's too stupidly done and he's too heavy-handed and it's blah, 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 blah. But in other ways, I don't know. I quite like it. This thing at the end of the game where they're like, oh, he really liked his dog and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. In today's video, okay. Oh, I got to talk to you guys about this. I don't know what you guys think. Has anyone in chat right now watched today's video as well? At the end of it, I propose, here's my proposal for the start of the next patch. Empress Inn goes to Kryta on a mission of diplomacy. She's looking to form a treaty, whatever, you know, forge new ties with distant cousins. 250 years since estranged, whatever, 150 years estranged. And while she's there, she gets assassinated. She dead. Because Inn's a weird character right now where she kind of feels important, but she's barely in End of Dragons. So it's like, well, what? And I don't really care about getting to know her, but if she dies straight up, as long as they don't try and make it into a tragic thing I'm supposed to feel sad about, I think that could be a really good thing that would galvanize a new storyline, right? A good inciting incident. So Inn dies. Now, what does that mean for the purists, for the xenophobes, for those who don't like the outside? Well, they're suddenly pissed, you know. That's an international incident. But what I would have it is, so that's when Rama and Marjorie and everyone, they're like, oh my god, we got to investigate this. Why did Inn die? Was it the Crichtons? You know, maybe Inn dies and then E tips us off. E sends a message to Marjorie and says, this is foul play. Something dodgy's going on here. So we start looking into it. And we're looking into it thinking to ourselves, okay, maybe it was a purist assassinate Inn just to make it look like the Crichtons did it, specifically to try and cause the average Canthan to want to reinforce their borders, blah, 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 blah. So we're investigating it, thinking it's a purist plot. And in the end, it turns out it's not a purist plot. It's something much more sinister. It's Canucksai. It's the Oni. There was an Oni that assassinated Inn in Kryta, and the patch ends with us fighting against that Oni deep beneath the Jade. And Aureen's freaked out, because at the end of Dragons, Aureen says, yeah, I know everything now, I know all the magic. I'll understand if something is tapping into the magic. And then, turns out there's a demon, and it's messing with the magic, and Aureen didn't even know. And so now Aureen's a little bit scared. We do what we can, and there you go. Now they're building to the next expansion, and they've done something big and cool. That there, I think that's a pretty cool story for where they could go with the next episode. But let's not forget, at the end of this, in a minute, you're going to see we beat Lee and we put him in jail. Lee is in jail, and last year. That's my current thinking of what would be cool for the next patch. 10 days away. Last year, though, I was thinking a cool thing would be Lee getting assassinated. Why am I so obsessed with assassination? Lee would get assassinated in jail. And he's, like, drained of his blood or whatever. Because these other creepy fucking vampire celestial guys, you know, they've got it off him because, you know, he might spill the beans. And I think that's a really interesting start as well. I mean, maybe they could do it all at once. I don't know. But, so... yeah, that's my current thinking. Anyway, here we go. Here's the Die Hard scene. And this is cool. I love this elevator. And on my first playthrough, I'd seen this, and I was wondering when it was going to be used. It's awesome. It's going to be weird doing this fight in the non-strike version of it.
Incredible.
And the non-CM as well.
There's nothing interior I can even compare this place to.
I still remember the first time you brought me up here, sir. I was in awe.
I felt the same when I started here. It's only gotten more impressive. Humbling reminder of how far we've come.
And it's kind of quiet and ambient too. I like this staged at night time too.
My specialized task force. Trained them myself. They'll be assisting tonight.
This is so good. I'm so big. Yeah, come on in. Let's do it. Look at them. They're ants to me.
June's left her mark on this nation. She is a talented woman. Wish she'd focus that talent on what's in front of her.
Some people are always looking for what else is out there. Guess we prefer working with what's already here. Everyone thinks their view of the world's the right one.
Is everyone ready?
Yes. Absolutely.
We should walk. There's a lot of interesting questions at the moment in chat. Hold your tongue on that, guys. I'll respond to them just once we get through this scene. Because we're going a bit slow here. Thought I'd be done with June's mansion as well here. You know, all my comments that End of Dragons ends really quickly and sort of runs out. I've become so rambly and so slow these past few episodes. It's going to really...
Subdue the criminal.
Sir, what are you doing?
I'm sorry you got caught up in this mess, son. But it's best you leave matters to us. We'll see that they're handled appropriately.
I like how he gets...
See to it the outsider remains alive. But if force is required, you may use it.
I'm not going anywhere till we get this straightened out.
This is the best part of the job.
So yeah, this is the Enforcer. I don't really remember anyone calling the Enforcer the Willbender. Oh, that's weird. I don't actually know what they're gonna do. Normally he goes into the middle. It's weird, actually. You don't even start with him in this Lee phase. Oh, he's gone. I like the diamond pan.
It's my pleasure to detain you tonight.
How long till the... And this is the Ritualist, right? I can't remember. Who was predicting a Ritualist would be one of the specs?
No need to be ostentatious
now. Or which one is that meant to be?
It's unbecoming.
The Vindicator? The Mind Blade?
Jail cell ready.
Can I block this?
Myself.
Oh, yeah, this is Dagger 3, except, wow, there's only 3 of them, and it does no damage. This is weird. This is very odd. There we go.
You?
Commander, get over here.
The sniper.
Behind my shield.
Oh my god, Lee defends us from the sniper. That's cool. I'm so tall. Oh, wait. There we go. I mean, that's gonna hit me anyway. I like that.
It's Min, with a drone. Hi. After you two left, I finally solved the Purist case, and well, didn't want you to be alone with Lee.
Oh no.
Yeah, you'll have to detain him. Let me try and find you a way up there. There, you should be able to reach him now. Be careful.
This night just keeps getting better, huh?
It's interesting. I forgot she's a part of this fight.
This will be easier if you cooperate.
This useless outsider is not worth your career or your freedom.
The commander is innocent.
They're all innocent. But even the smallest cut can lead to infection. And we've let this one fester.
Sir, permission to assist you.
Permission denied. I'll handle this.
Oh, you just get so much reaction time for every attack. This is so crazy. I think you get there is a reward, isn't there? There's an incentive in this to redo these. There's actually an achievement I need in the Strike CM to dodge all of these attacks, but I don't have it yet because there's a thing where you got to like bait one of the mechanics and like use stability, and I keep doing that. Oh, this is numbers, is it? That's funny. Weird, but I don't have a number. Oh, he actually did a lot of damage there. Man, there was something I was about to say, and I've totally forgotten it now. Something from the dialogue. Let's see here. NPC. I wonder if he can actually kill me now. I don't have too much healing here. Oh, yeah. So what? We know he's the Falcon now, do we? I would love it if Archimedes was speaking to us here.
Rama, stop this nonsense! You're interfering with the law!
And you're ignoring the law! Ah!
Man, I should keep my Jade Bot protocols up. Or do an open world build. I really want them to nerf those fucking Jade Bot protocols so that my open world builds actually mean something. Like self-boons and all that.
Guards, change of plan. Place them both under arrest. Time in solitary should get Rama's head straight.
Okay. So we get all 3 of them. I'm Fixate. Rama's Fixate. That's cool.
aiding criminals, Rama? How the mighty have fallen.
You'll look lovely in handcuffs. Stay synchronized, you two. Strengthen pairs.
I'll get you back up there.
Okay, that's dialogue from the CM. In the CM, I would focus the.
There's no doubt he's.
Rama.
You know who you're dealing with.
I'm sorry.
The Mind Blade first. The Mind Blade is not actually even attacking. How funny is that? I didn't aggro the Mind Blade. I gotta go slow because I think it's cutting dialogue off. Oh, here we go. Look, this is the only safe spot. We're as big as the spirit. Boom. I fucking love this ability. It's so much damage. It would look so good on a Char as well. Just look at that animation. Just a double-handed overhead slam. Oh, I should have cancelled that. Careful, Ritualist. You're the last one left. That's a weird telegraph there. I don't know why that's broken like that.
Alright, go get him.
Captain Min, I'll have your badge for this.
File a report.
You're diluting your nation, Rama. Eroding its culture, its people.
I think I'd know about eroded culture.
Oh, don't be dramatic. History is the ebb and flow of power. Humanity's striving for its best iteration.
Sir, I insist. Allow me to help.
Mind yourself, soldier. I said I'll handle this.
This is his pride. I like that about Rama as well, talking about eroded culture, knowing, you know, his Kurzik roots. To be honest, I should probably hit the stun. Wait, is it the stun break? No, that's the problem. Oh, no, I'm mousing over skills. Save me, Rama. Oh, he's been knocked down. It's okay, I have a Jade bot. It's Scavenger Burst. This is my quickness, but it's only 4 seconds on my current setup. Why, what did I do there? Did I just save Rama? That's a weird mechanic. I don't actually know what that is. I'm surprised that Lee one-shots you with that, by the way. I wasn't actually expecting him to... You know, I've been avoiding all those oranges, but, I mean, I didn't think it would be a big deal.
I'll take care of Lee.
Take care of me? I taught you to fight.
Oh, that's the stacking mechanic. But they telegraph it with green in the actual strike. Why telegraph it with the blue?
That's right.
That's weird. I'm going to go for the sniper. Oh, she left already. Can I go up to her still?
If you weren't worthy, you wouldn't be my next in line for minister. I recognize your merits, despite your background.
Then you don't recognize me at all. Or half the people you claim to stand for.
I must say, it's pretty sad having the low fury and not critting half the time.
About betrayal?
Oh my god, the barrage still hurts as well.
Makes no difference.
Oh my god, I went down. I should have switched to staff quicker and not stood in the barrage. This is quite cool actually because it's very slow, but I now realise it's still a lot of damage. I guess the respawn here, they'll just let me stand up again, probably. They don't actually reset fights, do they? Let's see. Oh. Wow, I've never seen her up there as well. She's on different platforms in this edition of the fight. I also don't know whether that laser comes more regularly. Yeah, let's avoid the barrage. It's still actually a mechanic. Oh, there she TP'd, but not far away. Should we kill her with a spear? Ready? That's going to be the spear kill. Ready? Oh, it didn't crit. It was 9,600 damage and it didn't crit. I'm going to kill her with it, though. Oh, my God, the barrage. This is nuts. Maybe they wanted me to kill the mech rider first. Here we go. No. She's just left. Can I block it? I'm going to have to try and dodge. Oh, it's actually the full-on ricochet. That's quite cool. I don't have a party to ricochet the attack too. Oh, here we go. Spear. I don't think I did it. I think I dodged on there and I shouldn't have. Oh, he has the push. Let's dodge on some mines. Spear. Man, he's squishy. Wow, he's so squishy. Hold on, just one phase ago he wasn't squishy. And of course, if we're in melee, he won't barrage. Yeah, probably want to do that one first.
Usually I prefer to handle these matters in private. But as deathbeds go, you could do worse. Enjoy the view.
Now all of Canada can see who you really are.
This is a cool part of the fight. I didn't realize like Rama in jeopardy was a thing in the fight, a part of the story or whatever. Oh, that was cool. 52k on Nomad's Advance as the killing blow. That was cool.
I concede.
Holy shit. We just clapped him in the head. Oh, if I knew I was still in my tonic, it would have looked so much better.
I'm placing you under arrest for attempted murder and criminal conspiracy. And if being an asshole were a crime, I charge you with that too.
Vindicator's cool, but you was hoping you'd get a Togo legend. Yeah, I think a Togo legend would have been really good, for sure. It's nice they let Lee survive instead of him dying. Yeah, I agree. I think it's the same as Banger. They're horrible people, but they're really good as functions of the story. You know, they're really, really captivating characters. You know, the fact they killed Ankarov means they gotta let Lee survive, surely. And they did, so... I don't know whether Lee will make it out of these next couple of patches, though. What do you guys think that the community is going to settle on as its term? Patch series? Do you think that's the phrasing that I should swap to? The next patch series? The End of Dragons patch series? I suppose other MMOs will influence the terminology that comes into play. I think a lot of us as well are going to continue using the phrase living world when we shouldn't, really. I'm going to try hard to...
This is going to be a whole lot of paperwork.
Indeed.
Well, Commander, looks like my night's booked. You'll have to get to June on your own.
Will do. Good luck with Lee.
Oh, and on behalf of the non-corrupt side of the Canthan justice system, thanks.
You okay?
Yeah. I'm an idiot. It was right there in front of me. Some detective.
This isn't on you. What's tough about these situations is they don't parade around in purist masks. You get so used to someone, you miss their tells. Before you know it, you're used to those, too.
I wasted 12 years working for Usoku Incarnate.
You've done so much, and that's not gonna stop. Lee didn't make you a great detective, or a great man. You did.
I love it. There's a great scene in Star Trek The Next Generation about this as well. Oh, Star Trek's so good. You guys should all be watching it. But in TNG, they have a scene where Worf is really struggling to, like, there's basically this, like, fascist dictator, but she's been very sneaky about her true feelings. And there's a really good scene where Patrick Stewart basically, well, Captain Picard basically says to Worf, like, villains who twirl their mustaches in plain sight are easy to spot, you know, eternal... And he's speaking to a half Klingon, you understand, and he's saying, you know, eternal vigilance, it doesn't mean aggression, it means constant scrutiny, you know, and constantly looking at people like her, like this character the other day in that story. It's one of my favourite clips of the show, and it always gets recommended to me on YouTube. That's what that little scene there makes me think of. Anyway, yeah, hello, Rama.
Sorry about all of this.
At least now we can hold him accountable. Lee sure puts the criminal in criminal justice.
Zing!
But he's right about you making a great minister. You represent Cantha more than he ever could.
Thanks. Doubt it's in the cards. Though he did set the bar nice and low for whoever's next.
Yeah, so Kroof in chat saying, do we start using 4.1, 5.2, 10.2? You would like that, would you? I don't know. It's just weird to me. I don't know. I think there should be something. Like, how do we differentiate between last week's patch, which was just a balanced patch, world versus world rewards, whatever, from a big-ass story patch, you know? There has to be a differentiation there. Yeah, sorry, you're right. Worf is a full Klingon. He's just raised by humans. Yeah, you're right. I mean, in terms of like character and sensibility, he's not really a Klingon, is he? He didn't grow up with Klingons. He likes prune juice and all that kind of stuff. That's what's captivating about him. He's not a Klingon as you'd expect it. He has this idealized idea of what an honorable Klingon would be. In fact, it's so idealized for him. He embodies some of those virtues of the Klingon culture more than they themselves do, and he really struggles with that, you know. And his stories are always best when he plays off of stuff like that. Like when you find out about his girlfriend or whatever, the woman he ends up having a kid with, and she is an actual half Klingon. I'm not talking about B'Elanna Torres from Voyager. I'm talking about another cool character. She gets killed off and stuff. Yeah, anyway, I don't know. This is not a Star Trek podcast. Well, there you have it. Head to June to say. By the way, I'm still not entirely sure what these tales are for. I'm happy to have been getting them. Earn daily from each story journal chapter. I like that it's a system, but yeah. I've got to salvage these Gorseville legs as well at some point. Oh god, June's Estate is a big patch though. It's definitely a big one. The really good scene. This is an amazing moment of End of Dragons. Even 1 year later, I know this is so good. Look, it's just normal gameplay, normal story. We're looping back to Saitang. Applause, applause, applause. I like it. And then, what do you think is going to happen? We're just going into the open world. Look at how they start to deconstruct your expectations of when story happens and why. Because boom, we load into question mark, question mark, question mark. Great loading screen. Everything about this is just amazing. Huge lore here.
What? Why am I here?
UI's disabled.
Maureen?
Not Ark, obviously,
She's
but
barely holding it together.
Commander, why haven't you done what needs to be done?
Suwan? Is that you?
You must find a way to end this before.
We need you to hold on. Just a little longer. We're working on a solution.
There is no solution.
Ooh, I do like the void. And the visuals change.
Commander, look out! We heard your call, Commander.
Suwan, please. You must fight it. There is nothing left to fight.
If the void's made it to the deepest corners of her mind,
Then it's over.
No, I'll buy you some time, champion. But you must use it.
Is it true? Do we have to kill her?
Yes, but not with all of this inside her. It would unleash the void onto the world. And the world would not survive it. Go, champion. You must reach June. She's the only hope we have.
Maureen,
I'll stay with her. We'll hold this as long as we can.
you're sure?
No more questions. Go! The cycle is ending.
And then that was Aureen roaring in pain there. It's an interesting scene. There's so much I can talk about there. I like the whole cycle thing. We now know what the new cycle is, guys. We know what it is.
Can't lose any more time.
It's mini X-Packs.
No more delays. No more entertaining doubters and petty disagreements. I need to get to June.
Yeah, no more entertaining doubters and petty disagreements. Except that's exactly what we're about to go into with June at the mansion. You know, another thing I like about this thing, I like the way that
June's last gala.
I like the way that sorry, I thought that was important for a second. The Void refers to themselves as we. You know, there's all this discussion, like boring circular discussion in End of Dragons. People obsessed about like gender pronouns and how, you know, they have Yao and all that. But I think there's something interesting going on with the pronouns with the Void as well, you know, in that they are a collective, you know. They are not a singular entity. And that's really cool because it kind of speaks to the fact that they are so many strands of magic. It's all coming, it's an amalgamate, you know. And I really like that. I think this is where End of Dragons starts to get a bit sloppy, though, because we are now moving into a place where this story should have been about killing Aureen, frankly. You know, there would have been emotion there. People in Spud Discord were talking about, like, the music at the end and how it feels ill-fitting and stuff. It feels like this whole expansion, everything's structured around offing Aureen, but then it's like they get cold feet, so they off Suwan instead. But they want us to feel bad about Suwan, and this is where it really starts to lose me. I really loathe all the Suwan shit about Suwan being responsible for making everything and woe is Suwan and poor mummy, blah, blah. I really, I'm just not on board with it. I mean, that's my feelings right now. I mean, we'll see how we go over the next couple of episodes. But yeah, we have a great instance here as well. This June mansion instance, I have a bunch of achievements I need to get here as well. There's this one, A Woman of Culture, where there's law books. And I missed one still, and a couple of these I didn't even read out on my original playthrough, so there is something meaningful there. And then there's like, so I need 2 more for the Ascended. Gain access to June's files. See, I don't know. That must be in the next instance. Ah, defeat Minister Lee without being downed. Oh, I basically just did that. Oh, that's annoying. All right, well, I can go back and get that between the videos. So yeah, and then in the next one, guys, we're basically... You might find that... What is this? This is part 7. I think part 8 is the end of this series. You may see the next episodes quite soon as well, because the next patch is very soon. I want this done, and I want to get back to the other playthroughs that I'm doing on the channel right now. It's nice to have all this activity and things to talk about and stuff going on, but I really don't want to let them drop, so I kind of just want to clear the slate. I want this kind of clear. So you'll probably see the next episode very soon, so keep an eye out. And yeah, thank you everyone. Thanks for all the lovely comments, all the back and forth. If I've missed stuff, feel free to drop them as just regular comments. I'll see it. Maybe we can get a Q&A or something out. And yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying. Thank you very much. And yeah, if you just came to this immediately when it's live, don't forget I do have another video up today. Curious to, specifically about the next patch. Curious to see what you guys think about that. Thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoy. And I'll see you next time for the next part. Take care now. Have a good evening.